Hello, listeners, and welcome to a new episode of Business Compact, the podcast for founders, seasoned business owners, or everybody else who is interested in learning about the world of international business. In each episode, we will explore topics related to the creation, growth, and globalization of businesses, from founding challenges to international growth opportunities. Our guests will share their insights, personal opinions, and lessons learned along the way, inspiring you to take a closer look at each individual discussed topic. My name is Tobias Kerkhoff, and I'm the General Manager for Internationalization at Wannabe International Business and your host for this episode. I hope you enjoy the upcoming conversation, and as always, if you have any comments, need support for your international business, or want to be on this podcast as a guest too, you're welcome to contact me under my email shown at the beginning of this episode. Finally, of course, feel free to subscribe to this podcast and our newsletter. Joining us on today's podcast episode is Nicole González Vargas, co-founder and CEO of Geodbone Biotech, a spin-off of the Pontifical Catholic University of Chile. She owns an MBA of the before-mentioned university and has more than 40 years of experience in project development in the field of sustainability and innovation in public and private sector organizations. Together with her multidisciplinary team, she focuses on a common goal: to innovate and improve the health of our patients. Welcome, Nicole. It's a real pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Thank you very much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
Great to have you here today. Nicole, could you tell us to start a little bit more about yourself and Geodbone?
Well, Geodbone Biotech is a Chilean research and development startup dedicated to creating an innovative biomaterial that generates bone, especially for maxillofacial and trauma applications. As you said, it's a spin-off from the Catholic University of Chile, founded in 2021 with my co-founder, Alex Vargas. He's a maxillofacial surgeon and implant specialist who invented the technology. About myself, well, my academic background includes a bachelor's degree in business and economics, as well as a master of business in administration. I have over 14 years of professional experience, and throughout my career, I have focused on process optimization and development socially impactful strategies. And however, during my MBA studies, I became involved in entrepreneurship by advising Geodbone when it was still just a business idea.
Thanks for the introduction. Geodbone has been rewarded with different funds and is a spin-off, as I've already mentioned during the introduction. Honestly, what's more challenging in your daily business, working together with the university or your investors?
Yes, we have raised mostly private capital in the early stages of our product development because public funding is challenging to get in Chile. It provides limited resources in biotech and has a long timeline. So when balancing time versus money, it is often not possible. And answering the question, well, both present unique challenges. On the one hand, you have the pressure of not letting down those who trusted and invested in us. But our investors also understand the risks involved and are flexible about potential setbacks. For me, communication is key. I stay in regular contact with our investor, keeping them updated on both progress and challenge and discussing how we plan to overcome them. On the other hand, our relationship with the university is more collaborative. When we need something, for example, we reach out and discuss how we can address it. The university does not strictly monitor us. Instead, they support us through entrepreneurial events and publicity, which helps build our reputation more than providing direct operational support.
I totally agree, and I think this also depends on the involved person and their daily mood.
Yes, definitely.
And so why did you decide to start your own business, your own spin-off, instead of staying an employee? And honestly, have you ever regretted not being just an employee?
Honestly, I didn't look for this. The project found me. When I was finished my MBA, we had a course project where we needed to advise a real company on a specific problem. I could choose established companies, foundation, or a startup, and my team and I chose to work with a startup. That's when we were introduced to Geodbone, which at the time, 2020, was just a business idea. So we decided to advise my current business partner who had the innovations, but no company structure. After our consulting work, he invited me to join the business. And that is how the idea of starting this venture together began. So answer your question, I haven't left employment yet until Geodbone becomes financially stable. For that reason, I maintain my current job. So balancing both roles is challenging, but it's possible, even if I have less free time. But as soon as I have the option to dedicate myself fully to Geodbone, definitely I will do it.
And an additional question from my side, based on your point on what you've just mentioned. Do you think it's possible to be a part-time entrepreneur?
Yeah, definitely it's possible, but it's difficult to maintain both roles at the same time with the same effort. But for me now it's possible because Geodbone needs more strategies to define because we are in an early stage. But obviously when Geodbone scale and launch the product out the market, definitely I need to fully take the decision and to take out with my other job.
Makes sense to me, totally. And talking about obstacles, what are the main obstacles apart from the lack of time at the beginning of your journey? For instance, here in Germany, Ernst & Young identified last year during their market study a so-called gender investment gap, which means that only 2% of venture capital in Germany went to female founders.
Well, the main obstacles are getting funding and the ability to pivot. In biotech, projects are high risk and demand significant development time, so there are few investors willing to take on that cost, especially in Chile. Most investors here look for quick-to-market technologies that can gain traction within 6 months to a year. The biggest challenge are getting funding and being willing to pivot, adapting quickly when obstacles appear that prevents progress, even if it means changing course or taking a step back. So regarding gender, I haven't found it as an obstacle since what truly matters is an attractive project and a solid team that can meet goals. However, it's true that few women lead such projects, perhaps because this level of commitment demands a great deal of time. Often, women may not be willing to sacrifice family time, whereas men might not question it as much. Personally, I don't have children, which gives me more time, but if I did, I might question my time commitments differently. So this challenge is not only about investor, but also it comes from social structures. Women are still often expected to fulfill more family-oriented roles than men. So especially in Latin America, which may be different from the experience in Germany or the rest of the Europe. I don't know. So that is my point of view about this question.
Oh, actually, the situation for women is pretty similar here in Germany. And of course, there are further challenges for founders. For instance, the continuous work on the business model, legal obstacles, or product development issues.
Yeah,
Great points. Since many of our listeners are independent workers and entrepreneurs too, could you share some of your best advice with them?
Well, starting a business is challenging. It requires resilience. There are more no's than yeses along the way, but it's a journey filled with personal and professional growth. You use and develop your full potential in both areas, which is priceless because in no other job do you face so many different challenges every day. So you must be brave, optimistic, and willing to pivot when things don't go as planned. And many get stuck because they don't want to let go of their original idea. But what truly matters is achieving the result, even if it means changing the product. The key isn't to fall in love with the solution, but with the problem itself.
Thanks for sharing your advice and experience with our listeners. Do we need more founders? And if so, why?
Well, entrepreneurship brings innovation and new developments. So, promoting the creation of new businesses and a startup is always beneficial for a country's growth and promotes market competition. I would love to see more women involved, but that also requires system support, like policies that offer women more family support, achieving the balance that should always have existed. In summary, women should have the same access to opportunities as men.
That's a global challenge. We often forget that the most successful companies, including multinationals and family businesses, once have begun their journey as a startup.
And in accordance with an official statistic of the OECD, almost a quarter of Chile's total working population are independent workers, whereas in Germany, it's not even 10%. So do you have any explanation for this remarkable number in your home country?
Well, for me, there are multiple reasons. One of which is that Chilean women are very empowered. Unlike in other Latin American countries, women in Chile are often the decision makers at home and in many cases, head of household. Without support from a partner, they are the only one responsible for providing for their children, so they work wherever they can. Out of necessity, creativity emerges, leading women to start businesses or work independently to balance their dual roles as mothers and fathers. So these statistics reflects a challenging reality. It would be great if they had access to jobs that offer the flexibility needed for mothers who support their families alone. And also, it's crucial to continue supporting the creation of new businesses led by women.
Totally makes sense to me. Many startups are looking for a quick exit strategy and have their goal of becoming a unicorn. What does success mean to you and your company, and where do you see the company in 5 years?
Well, it's not easy to innovate and launch fast to the market, especially in biotech area. But for us, success means scaling our technology to major market possible, for example, United States and Europe, and to get partnerships with companies who can distribute our technology globally. In 5 years, I hope we are selling in Chile and Latin America with our technology validated in this market and while exploring partnerships with companies to expand worldwide. So also, I would like to say I am very proud to lead a team focused on innovative and sustainable solutions to improve the quality of life for people and animals. For us, achieving that, it was success truly means.
That's interesting. According to my point of view, there are many ways of being successful in business, not only the big money. In my personal environment, I see more and more founders who value social impact. The important point is to define or to establish metrics for measuring success, because otherwise you could sell almost everything as a success, which is not the case. Thank you, Nicole, for this interesting conversation about entrepreneurship in the field of biotech. Unfortunately, we have already come to the end of today's episode. All the best for you, your team, and the future of Geodbone Biotech, of course.
Thanks for the conversation. It was great to talk with you. See you soon.
It's been great to have you with us today. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Mario.